to the Love Lab. I am Chef Lorious. Today in Calabama Cooking, I'm going to show you how to make focaccia bread. I love bread. I binge bread. I crave bread, okay? I don't crave chocolate and sweets. I want bread. And so one of the things that I love to do is make my own. It's my pleasure today to share that with you. Come on in the kitchen, guys. Let's cook. Family, what I've gone ahead and started in here is my warm water, yeast, and sugar. Now remember, we're always going to use water between 105 and 115 degrees. I have a cup and a third water here. It's about 109 degrees. I added to it a tablespoon of yeast and 2 teaspoons of sugar. The sugar feeds the yeast, right? Now if you can see in the bowl, I hope you can, I'm not sure if I got the angle right, but this yeast is starting to proof, means it's starting to bloom, it's starting to wake up, it's getting like this, right? If the water is too cold, what does the yeast do? Stay asleep. If the water's too hot, yeast dies. All right, 105 to 115. All right, now that I've got this yeast in here and it looks absolutely beautiful, sugar helped it come together, I'm gonna use my stand mixer today. We can always knead by hand, but you know, the Lord gave us these modern technologies. We should appreciate His goodness. Thank you, Lord. Okay, so I've got my dough hook here. All right, I'm gonna get this on. I'm gonna start by giving this just a little whip to get that yeast and everything in there. And I'm telling you, if your yeast does not get foamy, stop. Don't do nothing else until that yeast is foamy, okay? All right, now what I'm gonna do is put in some flour. So here I've got some bread flour I'm using today, and I'm gonna just add a little at a time, like half and half, okay? I'm just not gonna dump it all. I'm using about 3.5 to 4 cups, and that's gonna depend on the moisture in your area. Gonna let that incorporate. Remember, making bread is 4 things: yeast, flour, water, and salt. That's it. But then every now and then we make it a little special. We add olive oil to it. And we've got focaccia. All right, you see how this is all coming together? Okay, I'm gonna stop it because I'm not trying to get the whole loaf mixed just yet. I'm just trying to get it started, and I don't want to overwhelm this liquid with all that flour at one time. How would you like it? Somebody just dumped in 3.5 cups of flour on you. You wouldn't be fond of it. You might even take offense to it. And I have no desire to offend this bread. There we go. Slowly let that incorporate. And here's the salt. I'm gonna put about 2 teaspoons or so of sea salt or kosher salt in there. Try not to use table salt. Try, okay? Now I'm gonna tell you something else about salt. The reason you wanna add the salt to your flour, like I do, you can either add it in the flour in the bowl or put it in the mixer. But don't put your salt directly on your yeast because salt can kill yeast. Now you've already woke it up and everything, so it's, you know, it's good. But just trust me, be kind. Now as this is coming together, we're gonna start drizzling in this olive oil. It's a 1/4 cup of olive oil. Whenever you add fats to breads, you enrich them. This is gonna be so good. Every self-respecting woman knows how to bake a loaf of bread for bad days. All right, you see how I'm just drizzling this in? I'm not overwhelming it. That's on purpose. Love the dough. Be gentle with the dough. There. Okay, now we're gonna let this knead. The machine's gonna do the kneading for us. We're gonna let it knead for about 5 minutes, and this should start to pull away from the walls of the bowl, and it should come into a smooth ball. So while it's doing that, we're gonna take, this is the bowl, we're gonna let it rise in. Just gonna put a little bit of olive oil around here so that it doesn't stick. Just a little squirt. Just preparing this. Spread that olive oil. You don't have to use olive oil. You can use butter, or you can use canola oil. You can use any oil, any fat will do. But I like using olive oil in this loaf because olive oil is what we put in there. You know what I'm saying? It only makes sense. Now I'm gonna also advise you to make sure you put the oil all the way up the sides though, because when this bread rises, hey, if your yeast is in a really good mood, it might just puff on out. You know what I mean? I don't want to hinder it from doing what it needs to do. See how this is coming together? All right, we're gonna let this go for about 5 more minutes or so, and then I'll be back. All right, so here our dough has kneaded. Oh, beautiful, beautiful, for about 5 minutes. You see how this is even, it's coming off the dough hook easily? That's what we want. It's a little sticky, but it's really not, okay? Now what you're gonna do, I'm gonna take this dough, make sure you get up anything that's on the bottom, okay? Because you may have a little bottom settlement, that's okay. Just like this, okay? And we're gonna pat this into a ball, form it into a ball. See that? See this, you can actually touch this dough, okay? All right. And we're gonna put it in this bowl that we put the olive oil in, okay? Boom. We're gonna cover it with a damp towel. Now I just have a plain towel that I ran in a little water, rinsed it out real good, as my grandma would say, I rinsed it out real good. I'm gonna cover this and put it in a warm place to rise. Now where I like to put my dough to rise is in the oven. The oven is turned off with the light on. So I'm gonna put this in my oven with the light on for 1 hour, 45 minutes to an hour, in fairness. Give it time to rise, okay? And I'll be back. It'll be 45 minutes to an hour for me, 2 seconds for you. Well, family, it's been an hour. Here's my bread dough. Let's see. Oh yeah, she's beautiful. What we're gonna do is pop her out on this, okay? She's not gonna stick, I hope. Hope not. Yeah, she shouldn't stick. But you know what? Just to be safe, I'm just gonna take a little bit of flour. Okay, yeah, just to be safe. And we're just gonna turn her a little bit. Look at her. Oh, hello, beautiful. She's so soft and supple. It's your pretty self. What's your pretty self? Now what we're gonna do is shape this. Why am I so crazy? I'm up here talking to bread dough. It's good though. Okay, we're gonna shape this into a flattened disc. See this? I'm gonna push it out, about like that. It's round-ish, right? There we go. All right, we're gonna cover this back up. Okay, we're gonna go for a second rise. But the second rise is only gonna be about 20 minutes, okay? So, same damp cloth, back over it goes. I'm gonna put it back in my nice warm spot in my oven for 20 minutes and let it do one more little rise. Almost there. Well, fam, our bread has had its second rise. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? I'm gonna top it with just a little smidge of flour, and I'm gonna put it on this parchment paper, put it back on here to bake. Yeah, it's not sticking. All right, here's what I'm gonna do. Pull it up just like this. I'm gonna put it on that, and there. Doesn't get any easier than that, does it? Just a smidge of flour so it's not sticking to my hands, that's all. Okay, you're gonna press this out into the shape of our pan. You can make your bread as thick or as thin as you like it. I'm just using a 9 by 13 baking dish, but you can use a larger standard size cookie sheet or small. It's up to you. It's just gonna be about how thick the bread is. So you wanna take your hands, you don't even need a roller with this bread. See there? Just pushing it out like so. And that parchment paper under there is gonna make sure nothing sticks. Now take your hands and try to evenly press it so that you get the same thickness of bread across the entire pan. Okay? There we go. Now this is the fun part. Okay? Focaccia is known for its dimples, right? So I put a little flour on my finger and just go at it, you know? This part I usually get my kids involved in because they love doing this. And I mean, don't go like, okay, dig in because you want those good dimples. That's what's going to absorb and hold all that good flavor. There we go. Look at that. Doesn't that look good? Now we're going to take a little bit of olive oil, go across the top. Okay. And then we're going to just take our hands and just spread it out. See how it's sinking into those little divots? That's a good thing. And this is only about 2 tablespoons of olive oil you need on the top. You don't have to go crazy with it. But I mean, if you want to, don't let me discourage you. Okay. Next thing we're gonna do is salt. So this is a finishing salt almost. This is actually a sea salt that's really large salt pieces. I like using this because the flavor is really intense. And a little goes a long way. You can always use your sea salt, regular sea salt on the top of this, or kosher salt. I would not advise table salt because that's gonna change it. But if that's all you got, baby, do it, okay? Don't let that hold you back either. Okay, you see how I'm putting this on here really good? These crystals, salt crystals, that's it. Salt crystals, not pieces, salt crystals. All right, and I want it to be good. I'm sorry, I like to have my stuff salted, so talk about me. Now, I'm gonna make this basil, flavored. Y'all, too much goes on in this love lab. Nobody understands. I'm gonna make this basil. You can make it rosemary, but I'm just gonna take some fresh basil and sprinkle it on here. I obviously sprinkled that corner pretty well, didn't I? A lot of times people do rosemary focaccia, which is delicious. This is not a knock on rosemary. I love rosemary focaccia. But I also, Maddie and I, y'all know my Maddie, we have a thing for basil. We just love basil. I don't know what it is, but I was talking to her. I was like, so you think I should do this bread, basil or rosemary? She was like, basil. I said, okay. We had another little bit of salt. Here we go. We're gonna bake this in a 400-degree oven for about 20 to 25 minutes until it's nice and just a little golden brown on the top and done all the way through, okay? All right, my oven is almost ready. You know what? You can mix herbs too. What if you did like thyme, or you could do a whole thing? You. All right, as soon as that oven goes off and beeps, we're gonna put this in there and let it bake. And then we're gonna have a good time with the carbohydrates. Well, family, here is our bread out of the oven. It looks amazing. I cooked it for about 23 minutes. Gonna kiss it with a little touch of olive oil, your little pep, right? Okay? See that? Oh my God. It smells so good. This basil's everything. What I'm gonna do is try to get this out. See, I tried to start cutting it, but it was too quick, so I had to slow my roll. Y'all know. Anyway, it's still hot, but I'm gonna try to get it out of this pan. See if I can do that. Woo! There we go. Look how pretty she is. Hello, baby. Hello, love. Now I can finish cutting it. I tried to cut it in the pan. I should wait to cut it until it's cool, but I'm sorry, I can't. I don't have the self-control to smell this good bread. Look at that. Fam, look. Oops, let me cut that. Look at that. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm just gonna cut a little piece. You see how you see the olive oil in there? Oh, look at that beautiful crumb. And the salt. Man. This is so good. And because it's still warm, ooh, hot inside. It's like the bread is transferring love to me. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I have to go get Madison because she and I love bread the same. And totally, she will get it. And we will be done. So let's hope I get a picture or so of this before we devour the whole thing. All right, fam. This is it. Focaccia bread. Not that hard to do. You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it, right? Thanks for joining me. I will see you next time on the Love Lab. I can't even talk right. The bread is so good. I'll see you next time on Calabama Cooking in the Love Lab. I hope I got that right. Happy cooking.